Good morning, guys. So China has deployed troops to the Polish border. Guys, let's not forget, Poland is a NATO member. So the news of the day, the most significant thing I think that's happening at the moment is Chinese troops, masses of them, in Belarus, right on the Polish border. Let's just give context, guys, on this situation. Since 2022, there's been issues around this border area. Now, there's been claims that Russia's been trying to militarize migration. You've got you've got Poland and the Baltic states wanting an iron wall that that whole corridor to protect their borders. Guys, I'm going to give you some mainstream accounts of what's happening, and then I'm going to speculate and tell you what's really happening and the significance of this exercise. Guys, I've read about 8 articles this morning about this exercise, and not one of them is talking about why they're really there. But guys, anyway, let's begin. Also, I'm just going to focus on this issue today, this morning, and then I'm going to do another video about the about the NATO summit, about what generals are saying, and I feel people are starting to wake up to the actual threat. So, guys, and I'll put all these links in the description. A key Russia ally claims to be responsible for two key Russian allies claim to be responding to the aggressive foreign policy of Western countries. Now, guys, you're seeing this now. You're seeing tit for tat and this political minefield. Neither side looks like it's backing down. Chinese and Belarusian troops started a joint military exercise on Monday near the Belarusian city of Brest. I want to say Brest, but it's probably called Brest or something. 5 kilometers from the Polish border. The manoeuvres, codenamed Eagle Assault, and I'll come on to that name after, will last 11 days until the 19th of July. As part of the anti-terror exercise, the military personnel of both countries will work out the issues of night landing what? Overcoming water obstacles and conducting operations in an urban setting, the Belarusian Defence Minister said on Telegram. The post was followed by others showcasing the readiness of the armed forces. The NATO grouping on the border with Belarus is growing rapidly, which leads to an increase in tension in the region, stated other posts that warned of a harsh reaction should anyone cross the Belarusian border. So, guys, well, I'll continue actually. The drills are in response to the West's aggressive foreign policy towards Belarus and to Ukrainian provocations, said Vladimir Kupryannyuk, the deputy head of the General Staff of the Belarusian Armed Forces, at a Friday press conference. So, guys, let's look at that in context, what they're saying. So, we've got to go back to 2022 to understand this situation. If you remember 2022, when there was a load of migrants trying to cross the Belarusian border around this area, the Polish had to put an increased military presence there because of this threat. Now, because they've got an increased military presence there to stop the migrants coming over, the Belarusians are saying, guys, you guys are going to invade. So the Belarusians are putting an increase, and the Chinese are doing an exercise there. Now, you see how these things are escalating. Now, what nobody's talking about, and I've read quite a few articles on this morning, nobody's talking about the significance of that town. Guys, I want to call it Brest. Brest. No, not one person has talked about it, and the significance is the rail network. This town, Brest, forms part of the Moscow-Brest rail network. And guys, this is only 60 miles from Warsaw. So basically, if you wanted to get on a train from London and go to Moscow, you'd go through London, you'd go through Warsaw, you'd go through Brest, and then you go to Moscow. It's a huge, it's a huge train line. It's very well maintained. If you're in the West, you don't understand. If I don't want to be rude, if you're in the West, you probably don't understand how heavily, the Europeans, Russians, the Slavics rely on their rail network. These rail networks are absolutely key. So that's what it's part of. It's part of a direct route from Moscow to Brest, and by de facto that would be the way that if Russia wanted to get heavy logistics into a NATO country, they would go through this location. So that's why it's, that's why it's so significant. You can move logistics by train, you can move tanks, you can move all sorts of stuff on this train line. So that's why it's key to be able to, defend that area of Brest. There is an issue with the train lines, basically. So the train lines in Russia are like this. Must be very big. And then in Europe, they're slightly smaller. So to move trains into Europe, they would have to reduce the gauge or put them on different, or put the goods on different trains. That's why the area of Brest is so important, guys. It's because of that rail network and that significance of the the rail network. Now, the name of the exercise, guys, exercise Eagle Assault. Some places, some articles I've read, they're calling it attacking Falcon or Falcon Assault. I think this could be a translation error, but Eagle Assault. Whose national symbol is the eagle, guys? Tell me, whose national symbol, national animal, whatever you want to call it, is the eagle? It's America. So this could be translated as Exercise America Assault. I don't know if that is. I don't know if it's a translation error or what. But this brings me to to bring to the foreground about the importance of translation and understanding cultures when we're doing these these diplomatic meetings, having these these bilateral negotiations. Translation, understanding culture, they're absolutely key, because don't forget, you may only get one chance at these negotiations. For example, David Lammy, our foreign secretary, whose responsibility will be to go and negotiate these, potentially ceasefires, these pacts, these agreements. It will be his responsibility to go and make these deals. Now, if he misunderstands something, say if somebody, let's use this for an example, exercise Eagle Assault. If somebody translates that wrong to him, or he doesn't understand the significance, and again, maybe there's no significance in this, I don't know. But if somebody translates to him, that is exercise, what did we say? The second one, the Falcon Assault or something, or no, attacking Falcon. So if they say to him, oh yeah, that's translated to attacking Falcon, kind of doesn't mean anything, does it? Attacking Falcon, right? Okay. But if somebody translates it better and says, oh, that's actually Eagle Assault, so they're assaulting the eagle, it kind of gives another meaning to things. And these sort of things are key. And guys, we really don't need amateurs and people who are emotionally charged in our government at this time. I personally don't feel we have a competent foreign team at the moment, guys, but that is what it is. Now, if you remember from the article I just read, they're going to be focusing on urban areas and urban combat. If you're in the UK, you would call it FIBUA, fighting in built-up areas. Now, normally you would not go into a built-up area. It takes up a lot of resources, your casualty rate's high, and it's a nightmare because you have to go through room by room, building by building. If somebody gets behind you, guys, it's just an absolute nightmare. It takes up so many troops. Normally, you just surround that location, cut off their utilities, say, right, behave and I'll turn your utilities on. Then the utilities get turned back on and everybody's fine. But the only reason you would go into that area, that what they call urban area, is if there were key infrastructure you wanted to control. So I'm reading from this exercise that they're looking at Brest and thinking, right, okay, this is a key location. Not only is it a key location from east to west travel, but also it's a key location from west to east travel. For example, I'm sure this is what these guys are thinking. I'm just speculating right now. These guys will be thinking, if NATO does want to do an assault, they would take Brest, and then they would have access to our train lines, and they could bring trains, use the logistics supply of the trains to push into Moscow. Guys, that's the reality of the situation. Nobody else is talking about this. You've got all these mainstream media people on their little computers and stuff. They don't know what they're talking about. The significance of Brest is the rail network. And that's it, guys, okay? Let me know what you think in the comments, guys. I am going to mag to grid and I'm going to get you another video later.